Hey kids, in today's video, we're going to further explore if and else statements. We're also going to learn another way we can get user inputs. How are we going to do this? Well, we are going to code a classic Guess My Age game. How do we do it? Well, a basic version of it is actually really easy, but we're going to make it slightly more complicated. Best way to learn? Let's dive in and take a look. We're always going to start when we click the green flag there. But what we want to do is we want to sense or get an input. And you can see right here, we have a piece of code that will ask the user a question, and then it'll just wait. Currently, it's asking, what's our name? And well, that's really nice. We want to know age. So we want our little cat here to say, what's my age? How about guess my age? Guess my age. Now if I hit the green flag, here it is. We can put whatever we want in here, and it'll take that input and store it. What I have here is a way to store a user input, and that is stored by this variable answer. If you think, what is an easy way we could check that answer? Well, if the answer is something, then it's correct. Otherwise, it's not. It's a true or false statement. How do we build one of those? Well, we go over to our control, and you can see we have an if-else statement. Now we want the answer to be something or equal something. And I think in my variables, I have something just like that that fits in there. If what? If my variable answer equals, what age should we use, kids? Let's use my age, a lovely 23. If the answer is 23, we want to say correct. Otherwise, we want our cat to say wrong. Let's try this out. Guess my age. Let's always try our right answer first. 23. Correct. That's good. Let's try another number. 2. Wrong. How about a really large number? Wrong. Well, pretty good. That's a really simple way to get a user input and check yes or no on something. A very good example of a Boolean expression. You're going to hear that term a lot, kids. This game isn't very fun, though. Who knows? This cat could be some prehistoric being that is millions of years old, and our user could be guessing forever. So we want to give it a little help. Help I want to give it is I want to say if its range is really low or really high, I want to let the user know. And then I want the user to know if they're close, young, or old. That means I'll have to put pretty much 4 statements in to say that. How are we going to do that? Well, I think if we just nest these if and else statements and just keep giving it ranges, we could accomplish that. I'm going to take out the else part here, because if the answer is 23, we always want it to say correct. Otherwise, we want it to do something else. Let's put another if-else statement in here. And I'm going to go down to my operators here. And what I want to put in is an and statement. What do I want to put in there? Well, I want to say if my answer is greater than 0 but less than 10, I want it to say something. So if I go to my operator down here, well, what do I want it to say in here? Well, if my answer is greater than 0 and less than 10, I want it to say something specific. In this case, I want it to say, wow, that's really young. How do I put those numbers in there? Well, I want the answer to be greater than 0 and I want the answer to be less than 10. So the answer has to fall in this range between 0 and 10. And when it does that, I want it to say, wow, that is way too young. Let's see if we're right. Let's always try our right answer, 23. Correct. Let's try a number in that range, 2. We aren't getting anything. Let's go over here and look at my operators. I bet I have these switched around. So this is actually saying answer less than 0, and this is saying answer greater than 10. So let's just flip these around right now. Bring back an and statement. So the answer has to be greater than 0 or less than 10. Let's see if this fixes my problem. Guess my age. Let's say 2. Wow, that's real young. That's what it's supposed to say. Let's see, 23 should say correct. Let's see a number outside that range. Now I shouldn't get anything because there is nothing in there saying what it should do, and it's blank. So that's right. Now there is one more issue here we have to worry about. Let's say we put the number 0 in. We're not getting anything. Why is that? What this is just saying is the answer is greater than 0, not equal to 0. That means we have to make our own greater than or equal to operator. And how do we do that in Scratch? In Scratch, we would just use a OR command. So the answer has to be greater than 0, or it can be equal to 0. That means the answer has to be greater than 0 or equal to 0. And then it also has to be in the range between 0 and 10. So we have to do the same thing over here. And since our first number is our greater than signs, we'll put that in there. Our second one will be equal to 10. Now, when I put the number 0 in, there you go. You see the right command. 1 down, kids, 4 more to go. What we need is another if-else statement in here again. We're going to put that in. I'm going to duplicate this code up here and use this a couple of times now. The next one we want to say you're getting close. That means I want my number to be 11 since this is 10. And my other range is going to be 22 because we want to go right up to that number. In this instance, we want to say just a little higher. So the user knows they need a larger number. Let's try that out. Try our right answer, 23. Correct. Try our 2 range again. Wow, that's really young. That's correct. Let's try something in the middle of there, 15. Just a little higher. So that seems to be working like we want it to. Now that we have that range in, let's do one more if-else then statement. And this one is going to be from 24 up to, let's say, 40. In that range, I want our cat friend to say just a little lower. Let's try this again. Our correct answer, 23. Our really young range, wow, that's really young. Our you're getting close young, there you go. Now our over, a little lower, that's very good. The last statement we're going to say if anything else is put in. So if any other number comes up, we just want our cat to say, wow, that is way too old. That means if we don't hit any of these ranges, we should get something outside of 40 to say that. Let's try it out. Let's use the number 55. Whoa, that's way too old. Let's test through again. 23 for the correct age, correct. The young age. The medium young, just a little higher. Just a little lower, should say now. And then our giant age. There you go, kids. Seems to be working pretty well. We could adjust these numbers to be anything for any kind of guessing game that we want. Let's just take another second here and go through that code. So when my green flag is clicked, we will get an input from the user. That input is going to be called answer. If that answer is 23, it's going to say correct. Otherwise, it's going to ask, is that range between 0 and 10? If it is, it's going to say, wow, that's really young. And not only is it saying that, it's saying, is the answer greater than 0 or equal to 0, and in between this range of less than 10 or 10. If it's in that range, it says that. Otherwise, it's going to check the next. Is it between the range of 11 and 22? If it is, it'll say this. Otherwise, it'll go down to this statement. Is it between this range of 24 and 40? If it is, you get this statement. If it doesn't meet any of these criteria, then it just says, wait, that's too old. Why does it say that? Well, we've used all the numbers below, so we only have high ones left. Now, obviously, if we put a negative number in here, it'll also say that because we only gave it a range between 0 and 40. So any number negative or greater than that will give this number right here. Is there ways to fix that? Well, there is. We're not going to get into it in this video, but if you want to take the project a little further, you are always welcome to. So that's it, kids. That's how we are going to make our Guess My Age game. As always, if you have any questions, come see me. Otherwise, good luck with your project.